Been a little while since we've had one of these panic-inducing, it's now or never, it could all go wrong right now videos. So, yeah, we'll do one of those today. Also, what do you think of the new weekend time slot, particularly on Sundays? Seems silly trying to go up against real football, so we're a little bit later. Is that okay? Let me know down in the comments. Hello and welcome to part 3 of the MLS leg of the Expedition of Gold. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have the final 2 games of the regular MLS season. We're away in both of them. We're away against Seattle Sounders and Chicago Fire, and as it stands right now we need results to make it into the wild card playoff thing. So since you were last with me, that's England. Hold on, let's look at it. We qualified for the World Cup with England. We're quite good. England is still the best team in the world. Where are we? Since you were last with me, yeah, we're really trying to qualify for this thing, aren't we? I mean, that's not playoff form, is it? We're drifting back towards this kind of form that resulted in the previous guy being sacked and me getting the job in the first place. So with those 2 games to go, this is what the league table looks like. We're level on points with Atlanta. I guess it's on head-to-head performances between the two of us because we've got a better goal difference than they have, but we need results and we need them to slip up, and it's not a very fun situation to be in, but desperate times call for desperate measures, and for the first time as a tactical decision for, I don't know, since we were at Tour maybe, I've decided not to do a 4-3-1-2 because it's clearly not worked over the last few games. We're going to try something a little bit different. We're going for a 4-3-3. It could go desperately wrong. Both of our fullbacks are suspended, so that's great. Our star striker still on the disabled list. He's fully fit, just can't use him because the world's stupid. And we've got we're desperately changing a tactic in the hope of grabbing a result. So that's a good plan as well. In goal, we have Mikuchi. A back four of Wade, Illich, Clementino and Bush. Mateus sits in front of the back four with Hernandez and Makreki in front of him. And then we've got a front 3 of Vasey, Babbitt and Hidalgo. I'm not feeling very confident. We're still trying to do control and fluid. That's probably a bad idea. If things no, we're going to win. I'm not used to these touchline interviews where they're not saying, "Hey Kev, you're great. You're going to win again today," and I go, "Yeah, I'm going to win again today." These ones where we're actually going to have a failure season for the first time since when? Did the first season at Bayern count? I mean, we were only there for like 6 games, but finished outside of the Champions League and then snuck in through the back door. That's similar to this because we've only had like 8 or 10 games at who are we managing? Columbus Crew. But we've not had a transfer window or a draft or however. We haven't even worked out how that works yet. We've not been able to bring in any of our players yet. So in that way, it's similar to when we arrived at Bayern, similar to when we arrived at Tour. They're the seasons we really struggle with. We usually do better once we've had the opportunity to bring in some of our own players. The problem is, I don't really know how that works in America, and if we're actually going to get an opportunity to bring in a significant number of Kev players, I'd kind of just like to get rid of everybody and start with a blank slate, because I don't know that we've got anybody in this football club who I'd want to build a team around. Even the better players are really, really old and taking a lot of money. Babbitt's just scored an absolute beauty, though. Goodness me, what a goal. And as things stand, that puts us into that final wildcard playoff position. Imagine if, from the negativity at the start of this episode, we managed to go on and win the MLS Cup. Presumably that's what the wildcard lets us eventually get on to do, doesn't it? Obviously it's not going to happen. You just have to look at the likes of Chicago Fire, who are clearly much better than us because they're like 20 points clear at the top of the league from us. Is that who we're playing next? We're playing the best team in the league in our final game of the season when we need a result. Having said that, DC United are slipping up as well, and we've now moved up to 5th in the league table, which is a comfortable spot in the wildcard positions. And means that if we are playing Chicago, and I think we may well be, if we can hold on to this score today, we're not going to expect to go to Chicago and beat them, but we then have two teams who can potentially slip up and let us into the playoffs in the shape of DC United and Atlanta United. Babbitt seems to be doing a decent job of being a lone striker, which perhaps that's how we get the best out of him, because he's not been great, because we've had to rely exclusively on him for goals. I mean, he's scoring as regularly as he ever has throughout his career. He's not a prolific goal scorer. He's never going to be the kind of goal a game man I'm used to having knocking around in my teams. But perhaps this will work a little bit better for him. Do we stay on control, though? I mean, control's always been the thing that we do, but it does seem a little bit irresponsible at the moment. But then we're not very good at the back. We're playing seriously second string defenders. They're tired. I haven't got anyone to bring on to replace them. So like Bush, I could bring on a winger for him. Can Mateus go back there? Probably not, and he's an old man. We don't really want him playing at fullback. We're just going to have to keep those. No, we're going to continue controlling, and we're going to just make a couple of changes a little bit further forward, and just freshen up the more attacking areas. Okay, we'll do that. And even though we don't really have the firepower to do it, we're going to have to try and do it Kev style and just outscore them. I mean, they've not had a shot on target yet, so if we continue to pressure them to the point where they don't have a shot on target all game, I'm not a tactical genius, but I think if we stop them from having a shot on target, they won't score a goal. For goodness sake, at least let me finish the sentence. Their first shot on target, of course, leads to them getting a goal, because we're that incompetent. We've controlled this game, and then one little slip up, it's a ball over the top, and our defence is slow and rubbish, and our goalkeeper's not very good either, and Babbitt's in again, and we've gone back into the lead. Right, back to the original game plan. If they don't get another shot on target, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they get a shot on target every 75 minutes or so. So if they keep up with that kind of record, we're clear now. We're sorted. We're just going to have to keep trying to keep scoring. That's all it is. We want a third goal. If we can get a third goal, we can all chill out a little bit. I just want to change some of these defenders. They're all rubbish. They're all exhausted. But we just haven't got anyone else to bring on. So I'm just swapping wingers around because it's all we've got. This entire squad is just a squad full of wingers. I don't know why any one team needs this many wingers. It's like the game is having a giggle at my expense because it knew that this wasn't going to be a suitable team for me because it had 19 wingers in a 23-man squad. But it made sure this was the job that was available, and it made sure it was just tempting enough with that Champions League spot. Never mind the fact that they're having a terrible season and hadn't won a game for months. They're still in the Champions League. Kev's going to want this because he wants to be in the North American Champions League. He won't even check if it's just a team full of wingers. You know what he's like. Stupid game. Right. Well, now it's back in our hands again, but we are playing against the best team in the conference, so how in our hands is it really? Right, a couple of changes for our final game of the season. Well, hopefully not the final game of the season, but chances are it probably will be. Chicago are quite good. But Brooks and Pope both come in at fullback as they've served their suspensions. But now Mateus has a suspension because apparently you get a suspension if you get 11 yellow cards. A nice round number, like 11 yellow cards. So he drops out of the team. Plula comes in instead, and McCrecky drops back to the defensive midfield position, which he's really not very good at, but we don't have any others because all we've got are wingers. Did I mention that before? So let's go to Chicago, and yeah, I always look for. Is this a derby as well? If we're always looking forward to it. I don't know anything about where places are in America. I know vaguely where New York and LA are. I'm pretty sure neither Chicago or Columbus are in New York or LA. Therefore, they're probably next to each other because they're just in that bit in the middle that us foreigners don't know about because no one ever talks about it on the telly. As it stands right now, we are sneaking into the wildcard thing because Atlanta, I'm hoping they're playing. Yep, Atlanta are a full 3 points behind us. So in order for that and they're losing, so they're now 4 points behind us. So even if we lose, we're fine as of right now. I mean, I'm quite happy with there being no highlights. If we can go through this and just get a 0-0, that would be something of a result against a team that have comfortably trampled over everyone else in this division. Right, Babbitt, what's he going to do? Is he going to... Oh, that was a beautiful ball through to Plula. But it was a terrible finish and it comes back off the crossbar. But we're applying a little bit of pressure here. Perhaps we've found another tactic that we can play. Well, another tactic that we can play. We couldn't play the other one. Perhaps we found a tactic that this group of players can play. Who knew that when you've got a squad with lots of wingers in it, it makes sense to stop trying to shoehorn them into a tactic that doesn't have any wingers and play with a few wingers. It's remarkable. Right, let's go and grab a goal just to really celebrate. I mean, if we can win this, then we can go and win the whole MLS Cup. This changes everything if we can outplay Chicago, because they're much, much better than us in theory. They're going to get a player sent off here as well. And we've got a free kick in a dangerous area, plus another 35 minutes to play where they're down to 10 men. We could grab a win here. Come on, boys. Let's have a win. I mean, it doesn't really make any significant difference. I don't know how the wildcard thing works at all. So I don't know if we have any major benefit from finishing 5th rather than 6th. Or if it just doesn't really matter. Perhaps the reason this game is seemingly competitive is because it doesn't really matter for Chicago. They're through anyway. And it probably doesn't really matter to us as long as Atlanta doing their thing and doing us a favour, and we've scored, and it's Parry from a corner. There you go, another one of these wingers. Got all these wingers knocking around all over the place. He's the 4th winger to take part in this match. Wingers are the answer. We grab a goal through a winger, so the corner comes in. Apparently wingers can head the ball. I didn't know that. And look at that, he's giving himself a round of applause. Oh no, he's not. He's giving himself the back of the head rub, and everyone else is giving him a clap. All in all, though, a rather successful substitution. And that does move us up to 5th place. I just don't really know what happens next. We don't have any central midfield players. All we've got are wingers and strikers. And I mean, Plula, you're rubbish, but you're going to have to stay on the pitch because you're all we've got. Let's take Babbitt off and bring off Sakasem, who can't play as a complete forward, but he is a rather dangerous poacher. And just a little bit of energy and excitement up there for the last 10 minutes might just bother Chicago enough for us to stop them coming up and scoring. Although they're playing such a defensive formation, I've never seen anything like it. It's a 4-2-1-2, and 9 of those players, or 8 of those players, are back in their own half. But we've won back-to-back games, which I think means we're in this wildcard thing. So, does it tell us we've done that? Columbus Crew, that's us. DC United. So we're in the Major League Soccer playoff. Okay. So, yes, we're happy. Yes. 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 Now, what happens? So there's an MLS wildcard. Let's see who we're playing in. That's going to be the next episode, presumably. And do we find out who we're going to play? So we're going to play Philadelphia Union. So is that just like a one-off game, winner goes into the playoffs proper? Is that how that works? Who are Philadelphia Union? And where did they finish? Are they on our side or on the other side? MLS. If we go back to all groups, Philadelphia Union were on our side. They finished one place above us. So how did we do against them earlier in the season? We lost before I arrived, so we haven't played them yet. Well, I think that's then a one-off game that if we win, we get into the playoffs proper. Maybe. Let me know down in the comments if that's wrong, but that's going to be the next episode. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and thank you very much for watching.